My beloved, you did not find this message by accident. You were drawn here by a hand you cannot see, one that has been guiding you from the beginning. You may not feel it all the time. You may question it, even resist it. But my hand is on your life, steady and unfailing. You've been searching for direction, for answers, for signs. You've wondered if you're on the right path, or if you've somehow wandered too far to be found. But I want you to know this. Even in your most uncertain moments, I've been guiding you. Not with thunder, not always with clarity, but with a love so precise, so patient, that it has never once let you go. You've walked through shadows lately. You've asked yourself questions that you're afraid to say aloud. Am I lost? Did I miss something? Is God still with me? Let me answer with tenderness. I never left. I never stopped leading. My guidance is not limited by your clarity. My presence is not withdrawn because of your confusion. In fact, when you feel most unsure, I am often closest. I walk beside you not because you've earned it, but because you are mine. I don't guide based on your perfection. I guide based on my promise, the one I made before you even knew how to seek me. The unseen hand is not symbolic. It is real. It moves through your days like wind through leaves, invisible but unmistakable in its effect. It has stopped you when you were about to step into something that would have wounded you. It has delayed you when you were running towards something that wasn't ready. It has opened doors with quiet precision when you were too weary to even knock. You have mistaken some of these moments as coincidences or as outcomes of your own intuition. But they were not. They were my hand. And this hand has held you, not just in obvious victories, but in the unseen battles. The nights you cried in silence, when no one noticed your pain. The days you showed up, even when you felt nothing. The decisions you made that looked small but cost you everything. I saw it all. I honored it all. And I've guided you through it all. You don't have to pretend it was easy. It wasn't. But I was there, and I still am. Every step you've taken has been part of a design much bigger than you understand. You've looked at others and thought they seemed more certain, more blessed, more on track. But guidance is not always about ease. Sometimes it is about endurance. And you, my beloved, have endured. You have walked through seasons without clarity and still held on to faith. You have trusted me with tears in your eyes. That kind of trust moves heaven. That kind of faith rewrites stories. And that is why I'm reminding you now. You are not lost. You're not wandering aimlessly. You are walking in alignment, even when you don't feel it. The unseen hand guiding you now is the same one that parted seas, that wrote destinies in the wilderness, that reached into brokenness and made beauty. It is not less powerful today than it was in the ancient stories. I'm not distant history. I'm present reality. I'm not a myth to be remembered, but a father to be followed. And I'm guiding you, not with rigidity, but with relationship. I don't drag you. I walk with you. I whisper, I wait. I lead. With infinite patience and unwavering love. Let your heart rest in this. You are being guided, even in the silence, even in the confusion, even when everything external says you should be afraid. I am still at work. The path ahead may not be revealed, but the next step is. That nudge you feel, that peace that overrides fear, that idea you can't shake, those are not accidents. They are my signals, woven into your awareness, drawing you closer. My hand leads not just through open doors, but through open hearts. The more you listen, the louder I become. The more you trust, the clearer the path becomes. And yes, I know it's hard sometimes. I know how much you wish for certainty, for guarantees, for a voice that shouts instead of whispers. But what I offer is something stronger. Intimacy. I don't want you to just know my will. I want you to know me. Because when you know me, you begin to recognize my ways, even when they don't make sense. You begin to trust my pace, even when it feels slow. You begin to believe that even the delays are divine, that even the no is still a gift. So here you are, at a turning point, whether you see it or not. I brought you to this message as confirmation, not of every answer, but of my presence. You've been asking, God, are you still guiding me? Let me answer with a resounding yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I always have been. Yes, I still will be. Through what makes sense and what doesn't, through what brings peace and even through what brings pain, none of it is wasted. All of it is woven. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are in process. You are being shaped. You are being led. You are exactly where I can reach you, and I will continue to reach. Through signs, through silence, through peace, through people, through the still small voice that is me within you. Because I am the unseen hand guiding you now, and I'm not going anywhere. There's a deeper truth unfolding within you, one that has less to do with direction and more to do with identity. You've asked me again and again, what should I do? But now I ask you to consider something more foundational. Who are you becoming as you trust me? My unseen hand has not only been guiding your steps, it has been shaping your soul, because you were never meant to live only by instruction. You were created to live by intimacy. To live not as someone constantly searching for commands, but as someone fully immersed in communion with me. You have been walking with more sensitivity than you realize. That restlessness that stirred when you tried to move ahead of me, that was my hand. The lack of peace that whispered when you almost said yes to something not meant for you, that was me, gently tightening my grip. The unexpected delay that frustrated you, that was the unseen hand protecting you from timing that would have exhausted your spirit. I know how much you want things to move, to resolve, to happen. But more than that, I want you whole. I want you aligned. I want you ready, not just externally, but internally. Because readiness is not measured by momentum. It is measured by maturity. I am more interested in your character than your calendar. I have not forgotten the promises I whispered in your quiet hours. I remember what you prayed in pain. And none of it will be lost. But I will never give you something that would compromise your peace or draw you away from me. That's why I am guiding you slowly. Not because I am withholding, but because I am weaving. You don't need to know everything to be moving forward. You just need to stay connected to me. And you are. Even when you question, even when you hesitate, even when you feel far, your spirit is reaching, longing, leaning in. That is enough. That is trust. That is the evidence of my work in you. You don't need to be perfect at discerning my voice. You just need to stay open to it. And you have. You've quieted distractions. You've softened your grip on outcomes. You've begun to see that following me is not a formula. It's a flow. One that moves not by performance, but by presence. This is the essence of divine guidance. A life in rhythm with me. A life that listens. A life that yields. A life that trusts the unseen over the immediate. I'm teaching you to walk by faith, not because faith is more difficult, but because it's more honest. It acknowledges that you were never meant to control your life. You were meant to co-labor with me. You were meant to listen, to respond, to adjust. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. That is the life of someone who is guided by my spirit, not driven by fear. And fear has had too much space in your decisions. It's told you that you'll miss your window, that you'll make the wrong move, that you'll disappoint me. But I am not waiting for you to prove yourself. I'm inviting you to walk with me. Not at a sprint, not in anxiety, but in step. My pace is peace. My language is love. My correction is kind. I do not shame you into obedience. I shepherd you into wholeness. You have already begun to feel the shift. You've noticed that your body tenses in environments I no longer want you to remain in. You've found it harder to ignore the nudge to step away from what once felt familiar. You've sensed new vision rising in your heart. Vision that doesn't yet have details but carries a weight you can't deny. These are signs. These are me. The unseen hand is not just redirecting your outer path. It's awakening your inner compass. I'm helping you become someone who doesn't just walk in obedience, but who walks in discernment. Discernment is not about always knowing what to do. It's about recognizing what I'm doing, and you are learning that now. To pause when my peace lifts, to press in when my presence deepens. You're beginning to notice the difference between your own ambition and my assignments. You're learning the sound of my wait and even the gift in my no. And when you don't understand, you're learning to stay close anyway. That is the maturity I've been forming in you. That is what my unseen hand has been working toward all along. There are things I've been setting in motion that depend on your continued willingness to follow my peace. People you haven't met yet. Opportunities that will not make sense until you are living from this place of stillness. You do not need to strive for them. They are already appointed. Your only task is to remain aligned, to keep choosing connection over clarity, trust over timeline, surrender over strategy. This is not passivity, this is power. The power of a life anchored in me, the power of a soul that moves at the speed of my spirit. And when you live this way, you will find that doors begin to open not because you force them, but because they were always meant for you. You will walk into rooms you didn't plan for, carrying peace others didn't expect. You will move through transitions not with panic, but with presence. Because my hand will still be guiding and you will know it. So release the pressure to get everything right. I never placed that burden on you. I placed my spirit within you. That is your guide. That is your source. That is your strength. Let it rise. Let it lead. Let it remind you again and again. You are being guided even now. I see you. Not just the version of you that others applaud, but the one who wrestles with the hidden weight of decisions no one else knows you're making. The quiet anxiety of, what if I choose wrong? The fatigue of always trying to interpret signs, hoping for a clear yes or no, while navigating the gray in between. This is where my unseen hand becomes most vital, not in the dramatic moments of choice, but in the quiet spaces where your heart aches for assurance. And I am here. I have always been here, not to overwhelm you with options, but to ground you in trust. You've asked for clarity, and I hear that. But more than clarity, I'm offering you confidence in me. Not just confidence in outcomes or open doors, but a deep, settled knowing that even if you take a step in uncertainty, my hand is big enough to redirect you. I do not guide like a fragile GPS that fails the moment you deviate. I guide like a father who walks beside you, gentle, patient, invested in every step you take, and committed to getting you where you need to go. You will not be lost when you walk with me. Even your detours are part of the map I see. Sometimes you confuse my guidance with your feelings. You wait for comfort to confirm your direction. But beloved, peace and ease are not always the same. I never said that every path I lead you on would feel easy. But I did promise my presence. There is peace that lives beneath discomfort, the kind that strengthens you to take hard steps with grace. That's the peace I offer, the kind that lets you stand firm even when the ground beneath you shifts. The kind that teaches you that risk is not the enemy when you're moving with me. You've wanted me to make it obvious, to write it in the sky, to speak it through a dream. to remove every other option so that one path remains. But that is not always how I guide. Sometimes I grow you by letting you choose. Not because I don't care what you pick, but because I care deeply about who you become as you make that choice. My unseen hand shapes not only outcomes, but identity. And I am shaping you into someone bold in love, rooted in peace, and wise in heart. You've been afraid of making mistakes, but what if I told you that mistakes don't derail my plans, that I can use even your missteps to deepen your wisdom and multiply your impact, that I'm never caught off guard by what you do, because I'm already waiting in your future with mercy. Stop giving fear the authority to freeze you. Fear is not your guide. I am. And I guide not by coercion, but by connection. Let's talk about your intuition. That inner sense you've sometimes ignored or dismissed. It's not separate from me. I speak through that too. I crafted your spirit to resonate with my spirit. That knowing you feel, the one that keeps returning even when you try to shake it. That's me, drawing you in. I don't just lead through signs and wonders. I lead through the rhythm of your own heartbeat, the longings you can't explain, the timing that surprises you with its precision. Trust that I know how to get your attention when it matters. There are paths I'm opening to you that require more than information. They require alignment. That's why I'm guiding your character, even as I prepare your circumstances. What I'm calling you into cannot be sustained by charisma or convenience. It must be carried by maturity. So if it feels like I'm stretching you, if it feels like I'm withholding clarity, it's only because I'm expanding your capacity, not to impress anyone, but to reflect me. This is a holy recalibration, a slow, sacred turning of your heart from control to surrender, from strategy to sensitivity, from checklist to communion. I'm not just changing how you move, I'm changing how you listen. I'm teaching you to hear, not only with your ears, but with your spirit, to move not because of pressure, but because of peace. And when you live this way, you begin to see guidance not as a moment, but as a way of being. And oh, how different life becomes when you walk like this. You no longer panic at every fork in the road. You no longer beg for a sign at every decision. You start to trust that if you are walking with me, then wherever you go, you're already within my will. You begin to believe that you can't outrun my grace, that you are not a problem to be solved. You are a story I am writing, one line at a time, with care. So pause, breathe. Stop demanding that every next step be fully explained. You're not being ignored, you're being invited into partnership, into trust, into peace that transcends what you can plan. You're being led, even now, especially now. The unseen hand is not a metaphor. It is me, holding your present, preparing your future, healing your past. Let yourself be guided, not because the road is easy, but because I am trustworthy. Not because the destination is guaranteed, but because I am good. You don't need every answer to keep walking. You only need to know that I am with you, and I am. Let me remind you of something your heart has known, but your mind has doubted. I am more invested in your life than you are. My unseen hand is not passive or disinterested. It is intentional, active, present. You're not being nudged through life by vague energies or indifferent fate. You're being led by a Father who knows the number of hairs on your head and every hidden corner of your soul. I don't just see the road ahead. I see your pace, your fatigue, your hope, your confusion, and I adjust my guidance accordingly. I do not rush you into revelation. I walk you into rest. That is what I want for you now. Not just movement, but rest in the movement. You've been taught that guidance must feel like urgency, that divine momentum must come with pressure. But the way I lead does not fracture your peace. Yes, I will call you into action. Yes, I will prompt you to move. But when I do, it will not feel like striving. It will feel like freedom, like alignment, like exhale. My pace will always match my peace. If you feel forced, frantic, frayed, pause. That is not me. I do not push my children into panic. I lead them into peace. You've spent so long trying to calculate the right path that you've forgotten how to enjoy the path you're on. And I understand. The world praises productivity. It rewards those who can explain every step and justify every choice. But I am not bound by their systems. I don't grade your journey based on how quickly you arrive or how impressive your path looks to others. I measure by surrender, by softness, by how open you remain to me when the way ahead feels hidden. You see, I guide you not just through big moments, but through thousands of small, unseen turns. The thought that comes while you're washing dishes, the sudden idea while driving, the way you're drawn to a particular verse, song, or conversation. These are not coincidences. They are cues, evidence of my companionship in the quiet. The world waits for lightning bolts. I speak in whispers. But if you listen, you'll realize I've been speaking all along. Do you remember the times you almost settled, almost compromised, almost walked into something that seemed good but didn't carry peace? Those moments, they matter, not because they made headlines, but because they revealed your heart. You followed the nudge to pause, to ask again, to wait. That was guidance. That was victory. You may not have seen fireworks, but heaven rejoiced. You trusted me when it didn't feel convenient. And that kind of trust shapes your life in ways far beyond what you can measure. And I'm still guiding, still redirecting when needed, still affirming the steps you hesitate to take. There are times when you move without knowing the full picture. That's not recklessness. That's faith. You're learning to walk by the pull of my spirit, not the applause of others. You're beginning to crave alignment more than approval. And because of that, I can take you deeper. Deeper doesn't mean louder, it means quieter, more rooted, more secure. That's what my guidance produces. Not anxiety masked as progress, but peace that produces fruit. And the fruit is beginning to show. You're more discerning now. More aware of when your soul is stretching too thin. You're noticing when a yes would cost your integrity, when a no would protect your peace. That sensitivity is sacred. It is proof that my hand is not only leading you outward, but inward, into self-awareness, into wholeness, into wisdom. Some of what I'm doing in your life now doesn't look like guidance at all. It looks like delay, like repetition, like stillness. But these are not signs of failure. They are the fertile soil of clarity. I'm not a god of chaos. I do not waste seasons. If it feels like nothing is happening, trust that everything is being aligned. Foundations don't make headlines, but they hold the weight of what's to come. That's what I'm building in you now. A foundation strong enough to carry your calling. You don't need to rush. The moments I've ordained for you will not pass you by. You do not need to compete or compare or contort yourself to fit someone else's journey. You are not late. You are being prepared. And my preparation never fails to meet my purpose. So take a deep breath. Let yourself receive this truth again. You are not behind. You are not missing it. You are not failing. You are being led faithfully, patiently, perfectly. The way I guide is not like the world's systems. It is personal. It is constant. And it is anchored in love. Let me lead you not just into next steps, but into new thinking. Let me strip away the pressure to prove and replace it with the joy of being present. You don't have to understand everything right now. You just need to stay close. I promise I will keep guiding. I will keep speaking. I will keep walking with you. through every turn, every still moment, every sacred yes, and every surrendered no. My unseen hand is not just on your path, it is on your heart. Let's talk about the times when you feel like nothing is happening, when your prayers echo back in silence, and the path ahead feels more fog than light. These are not the moments I have forgotten you. These are the moments I am forming you. In the stillness, my hand is not absent. It is unseen, yes, but never inactive. You've mistaken delay for distance, but that's not the truth. I am nearer than ever. I am in the pause. I am in the process. I am preparing what you've asked for, and preparing you to hold it with grace, not strain. You see, I do not only lead you into open doors, I lead you into alignment. I will not usher you into places where your heart cannot remain whole. So if it seems like I'm holding you back, trust, it is not punishment. It is preservation. You asked me to bless you. You asked me to use you. And I will. But I will not build something with your hands that will break your spirit. My unseen hand doesn't just guide steps, it guards souls. There's a temptation to believe that when you cannot feel progress, you're failing. That when clarity doesn't come, you've missed something. But beloved, that is not how I see you. I don't measure you by momentum. I measure by trust. Are you still showing up? Still listening? Still willing to believe I'm working even when the evidence is scarce? That is faith. And faith pleases me more than flawless execution ever could. Let me show you a secret. The quiet seasons are where deep roots grow. It is where you become unshakable. Not because everything is clear, but because you have learned to stay close in the unclear. You've chosen to worship in waiting, to listen in silence, to keep your heart soft when the world tells you to shut it down. That is not small. That is powerful. That is why you are ready for more than you think. You may not have realized it, but I've been teaching you how to hear me without needing the noise. I've been weaning you off dependency on signs and urgency because I want you to know my presence as your default, not your emergency contact. I want you to sense my nudges before you ask for my interventions. That's what maturity looks like. And that's what you've been stepping into, even when it felt like standing still. I know how deeply you want to move, to break through, to see things change, and I'm not withholding that from you. But I'm teaching you how to walk differently, how to stop striving and start flowing, how to move with me, not just for me. You've lived long enough in survival mode. It's time to step into surrender, not passive surrender, but powerful, prophetic surrender that says, even if I don't see it yet, I believe you're still working. Because I am. And I'm not just working on the outside. I'm doing deep work inside you, healing wounds you stopped noticing, calling out truths you forgot were yours, awakening parts of your spirit that fear tried to silence. This guidance is not only about what you do next, it's about who you are becoming right now. You are becoming rooted, resilient, real. You are becoming someone who doesn't panic in the pause because you've learned to trust the process. And yes, I see the moments you still feel afraid, the questions that whisper late at night. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm behind? What if I missed it? Let me answer each one. You are not wrong, you are learning. You are not behind, you are being refined. You did not miss it, you are in it. Guidance is not a perfect science. It's a living relationship. You will make mistakes, you will have to correct course, but you will never walk alone. I am the good shepherd, and good shepherds don't abandon their sheep when they wander. They pursue, they protect, they lead back. That's who I am to you, not a distant judge, but a relentless guide. So let go of the idea that every step must be certain before you take it. Let go of the lie that peace is only for the end of the journey. Peace is the companion of every step taken in faith. And you are taking those steps now, quietly, faithfully, even when no one sees. But I see, and I celebrate every single one. Your guidance doesn't always look like a booming voice or a dramatic sign. Sometimes it looks like a closed door that saved you, a delay that protected you, a conversation that rerouted your heart just in time. Sometimes it looks like rest. Not because everything is finished, but because your soul finally stopped striving to be worthy. You were always worthy. You are still worthy. My guidance isn't a reward. It's a right born from relationship. And this relationship, ours, it is unbreakable. I won't let go. I won't grow weary of you. I won't stop speaking just because you're tired or unsure. In fact, that's when I speak most tenderly. When you stop performing and start resting. When you stop guessing and start listening. So if you feel like you're standing still, take heart. You're not stagnant. You're being steadied. You're not lost. You're being led. You're not forgotten. You are seen, known, cherished, and guided. My unseen hand is not just shaping your future, it is holding your present. There is something sacred happening in you right now. Even if the surface of your life seems still, the depths are shifting. That's the power of my unseen hand. It doesn't always move the visible first. It starts with the invisible, the internal, the foundational. Before you see the fruit, I shape the root. That's what I've been doing. Not delaying your destiny, but deepening your ability to carry it. You may have thought guidance meant immediate action, but I want you to see that sometimes being led means being held. Sometimes the next step is not a move, but a moment of surrender, of stillness, of reflection. You've grown used to equating movement with progress, but in my kingdom, obedience defines success. And obedience often begins with trust before clarity, peace before motion. My hand has been on decisions you didn't even know you were making. The people you chose to forgive, the habits you laid down, the moments you held your tongue. Those were not insignificant. They were thresholds. Every act of surrender, every choice to stay soft, every time you walked away from something misaligned, I saw it. I honored it. I used it. These are not just pieces of your story. They are preparation for what's to come. You've been praying for more purpose, more clarity, more confirmation. I hear those prayers, and I want to give you more. But more doesn't always come in the form of answers. Sometimes it comes in capacity. I don't just drop blessings into your lap. I shape you into someone who can sustain them. That's what I'm doing even now, increasing your ability to carry what I've prepared. Because what I have for you is not small. It's not safe. It's not for your comfort alone. It's for the healing of others. It's for the breaking of cycles. It's for the revealing of my glory. And that's why I guide with such precision. That's why I don't rush. That's why I don't take shortcuts. The future I'm leading you into requires a spirit that can hold tension, a soul that can walk through mystery, and a heart that beats with integrity. So if it feels like I'm stretching you, I am. Not to punish, but to strengthen. Not to shame, but to shape. I am building spiritual stamina in you, so that when the moment comes, you won't just visit destiny, you'll live there. With joy, with courage, with peace. Let me say something clearly. You're not waiting because you're unworthy. You're waiting because you're being made ready. Readiness isn't always visible to the world, but it is visible to me. I know exactly what you need for the next season, and I am delivering it. Sometimes through ease, sometimes through endurance. Either way, it is love. And oh, how I love you. Not because of how well you follow my lead, but because of who you are to me. You are my child, my creation, my joy. I am not grading your performance. I am guiding your becoming. I know you get tired. I know you get frustrated. I know you wish I would just lay out the plan in black and white. But I'm not withholding clarity to confuse you. I'm inviting closeness to anchor you. Closeness is the goal, not just completion, not just clarity. I want you to know my heart, not just my will. Because when you know my heart, you'll trust my hand, even when it's unseen, even when it leads you into places you didn't expect. You'll stop asking, "Is this right?" and start asking, "Are you with me in this?" And you'll hear me say again and again, "Yes, I am, always." You're not just learning to be led, you're learning to walk with me as a friend, as a son, as a daughter. This is not about spiritual performance, it's about spiritual intimacy. And intimacy doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it looks like presence, like sitting with me when the path is unclear, like trusting that being still doesn't mean being stuck. It means being safe in me. I'm leading you with a love that is tender and tenacious. I do not get tired of guiding you. I do not resent your questions. I welcome them. Every time you ask, "Lord, what should I do?" I hear not confusion, but connection. That question is not a burden to me, it is a doorway, and I will always meet you there. Even now I'm stirring things in your heart, memories, desires, longings you buried because they didn't happen on your timeline. But I never forgot them. I was just waiting for the right moment, not just for them to happen, but for you to be ready to hold them with holy perspective. That time is drawing near. You are closer than you think. So keep walking, not with haste but with hope. Let me guide you not just to what's next, but through what's now. This moment is not an interruption. It is instruction. You are not on pause. You are on purpose. The unseen hand is not done. It's still writing, still weaving, still guiding, with wisdom, with gentleness, and with an everlasting love that cannot be shaken. Let me tell you something sacred, something that will anchor you through every twist and turn. You don't have to see everything to trust me with anything. You don't have to understand every detail to walk with boldness. The world will try to convince you that certainty is your only safety, that unless the steps ahead are clearly mapped, you should hesitate, delay, protect yourself. But I'm not leading you by fear. I'm leading you by faith. And faith doesn't require full vision. It requires full surrender. This is what walking by the Spirit looks like. Not reckless leaps, but intentional, surrendered steps. Steps taken with me, even when the road is unfamiliar. This is not a blind walk. It's a bold one. One where you stop demanding every answer and start leaning into every moment. One where your posture shifts from "God, show me everything" to "God, show me you," and that will be enough. Because it will be enough. I will be enough. You are learning this now, deeply and truly. You are learning to listen differently, to discern the difference between pressure and peace, to recognize when you are reacting to fear instead of responding to faith. This is maturity. This is what guidance looks like as you grow. Less external fireworks, more internal flow, less waiting for a sign, more recognizing the sound of my voice already within you. And that voice is steady, not rushed, gentle, not manipulative, present, not pressuring. Sometimes you hesitate because you're afraid of dishonoring me. You don't want to misstep. You don't want to disappoint me. But, beloved, I need you to hear this. You cannot disappoint the one who already factored your humanity into the equation. I am not surprised by your questions. I'm not dismayed by your doubts. I welcome the process because I walk in it with you. I do not lead with ultimatums. I lead with invitations. And here's what I'm inviting you into now. A new level of freedom. Freedom to explore without fear of punishment. Freedom to move without needing a perfect plan. freedom to trust that if you are close to me, I will make sure your steps are ordered, even if they begin messy. I will never let your desire to follow me be wasted. Never. If your heart is set on obedience, even your detours will become divine. That's how good I am. I'm not just guiding you to avoid mistakes. I'm guiding you to live fully, to love boldly, to experience me in ways that go beyond theory and into intimacy. I want you to know the thrill of walking with me, not just reading about me. I want you to feel what it means to be led, not like a slave under pressure, but like a child who trusts their father's grip. And when you walk with that trust, you will notice something shift. Fear begins to fall away. You're no longer paralyzed by what might happen. You start to believe that even if the road is rough, my presence is enough. You start to believe that I will course correct when needed, that I will illuminate the path when the time is right, and that sometimes faith is about moving before you see. Not because you're reckless, but because you're rooted. Rooted in my voice, rooted in my nature, rooted in a love that does not fluctuate with your performance. You don't need to impress me to be led by me. You just need to keep your heart open, and you have. Even with trembling, even with doubt, even when you wished for more signs, your open heart is an invitation, and I will always answer it. So here's what I want you to do today. Trust the peace more than the plan. Trust the presence more than the path. If peace rests on a certain direction, follow it. If peace lifts when you consider another option, pause. That's not hesitation. That's wisdom. My peace is not an accessory. It's a compass. Learn to trust it, even when logic says otherwise. And don't be surprised when peace leads you to paths others don't understand. You're not called to live a copy of someone else's journey. I've written your path with my own hand. Some of your steps will be unconventional. Some of your yeses will feel risky. But they are necessary, not just for your story, but for those who will be touched by your obedience. Because make no mistake, your life is not only about you. My guidance in your life is creating ripple effects. The courage you show now will inspire someone else's breakthrough. The peace you protect now will anchor others in storms they haven't yet faced. The path you walk now will clear the way for someone still finding their footing. You are a signpost, a lighthouse, a living testimony of what it means to be guided by grace. And I will keep guiding, with compassion, with clarity, with confidence. Not every step will feel certain, but every step will be covered. Covered by my mercy, covered by my wisdom, covered by my presence that never departs. Not even when you feel unsure. I am committed to this walk with you, more committed than you know. So lift your head, loosen your grip, breathe deeper. You're not falling behind. You're not falling apart. You're falling into place. Every step is shaping something sacred. Every pause is holding something holy. And every moment is proof of this truth. You are being guided still, steadily, faithfully. And now you stand on sacred ground, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because your awareness has shifted. You no longer walk blindly, questioning whether I am near. You've begun to perceive the truth. I've been here all along. The unseen hand guiding you was never distant. It was never disinterested. It was always deliberate. Every twist in your path, every unanswered question, every delay that made you ache, none of it was random. All of it was redeeming you, restoring you, realigning you with what I originally designed for your life. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with revelation. See the patterns, the doors that shut just before you settled, the sudden clarity that emerged when you finally let go, the relationships that shifted right before your spirit started to grow. These were not disruptions. They were divine interruptions. My hand gently moving you away from what would have broken you and toward what will build you. You may not have seen it then, but you see it now. And that seeing is sacred. It is the gift of hindsight anointed by grace. This is how I work. I lead by presence, not pressure. I guide by peace, not panic. And when you begin to live from this truth, you stop chasing certainty and start carrying confidence, not in yourself, but in me. That confidence becomes your compass. It steadies you in storms. It strengthens you in silence. It helps you say yes when fear tells you to hide, and no when pressure tells you to perform. This is guidance, not a map, a mindset, a way of living attuned to my spirit, not just your circumstances. You've been learning to walk this way, slowly, honestly, sometimes tearfully, but faithfully. And I see the difference it's making in how you move, how you speak, how you love. You've stopped needing to explain yourself to everyone. You've stopped trying to earn what I already gave. You've begun to trust that when something is for you, it won't require self-betrayal to keep it. That is what being led feels like. Integrity with yourself, alignment with me, and peace that holds even when clarity hasn't arrived. Let me speak to that part of you that still wonders, what if I mess it all up? My answer is simple. I won't let you. Not because you won't ever make mistakes, but because I'm a redeemer. I don't just give directions. I restore direction when it's lost. I don't just point toward destiny. I walk beside you, rerouting every misstep into mercy. This is what grace means, not freedom to do whatever you want, but the assurance that even when you falter, I will finish what I started in you. And I have started something glorious in you. You can feel it, the way your heart stirs when you hear my voice, the way certain ideas won't let go of you, dreams, callings, burdens for others. This is not imagination. This is impartation. I'm birthing new vision in you, and I will guide it to fruition. But hear me clearly. I care just as much about how you carry the vision as I do about the vision itself. I want your pace to match my peace. I want your path to reflect my heart. I want the people you influence to feel my love through you, not just my calling on you. So do not run ahead. Do not try to make it happen on your own. Stay close. Stay present. The next steps will be revealed, but only as you walk with me, not just toward the goal. I'm more interested in our walk together than the milestones along the way. Because it's in the walking that you become who you were meant to be. The external journey is important, but the internal transformation, that's eternal. You're learning this now. You've noticed that your spirit reacts differently to things that once drew you in. You've outgrown certain environments, not because you're better than anyone, but because your spirit is expanding. You've stopped entertaining what drains you. You've started pursuing what aligns with your values, your peace, your purpose. That's not just maturity. That's my spirit forming you from the inside out. Guidance isn't always about where you go, it's about who you become, and who you are becoming is radiant. Not flawless, not always confident, but radiant, with wisdom, with grace, with truth. You are starting to reflect the light you walk in. Others are beginning to notice. They can't always name it, but they feel it. The steady calm, the quiet authority, the joy that isn't tied to outcomes. That is the fruit of divine guidance. That is what happens when you are led, not just externally, but inwardly. So as you prepare to step into what's next, whatever that may look like, I want you to remember this. You don't need to carry everything. You only need to carry my presence. Let that be your most prized possession. Let that be your highest priority. Because with my presence, you will always be aligned. You will always be covered. You will always be guided. Even when the road twists, even when the light dims, even when others fall away. My hand will remain on you, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Now we come to the final word, not an ending, but a holy seal on all that has been spoken. This is the moment where your spirit exhales and your heart rests in the truth that has been unfolding across every word, every pause, every whisper of my unseen hand. Yes, I have been guiding you. Yes, I am still guiding you. And yes, I will guide you into every tomorrow that waits with open arms. Let this be your anchor. You are not wandering. You're not drifting. You're not lost in a sea of decisions, trying to impress me with your navigation skills. You are seen. You are led. You are dearly loved. I have carved out a way through the wilderness, even when it felt like silence. I've planted direction into the soil of your daily life, even when it looked ordinary. You thought you needed a roadmap. What you truly needed was to learn to walk with me, step by step, moment by moment. And now you know how. Maybe not perfectly, but deeply. Your ears are more sensitive to my spirit. Your heart is more surrendered to my timing. You've stopped fighting for control. You've started trusting the current of grace that carries you. That is transformation. That is the miracle of a life fully led by me. You've learned to live in rhythm with me, no longer panicking in the pause, no longer sprinting toward outcomes, no longer attaching your worth to clarity. You've embraced the beauty of mystery because you've come to believe that mystery with me is safer than certainty without me. That is the faith I've been forming in you all along. Faith that doesn't need all the answers. Faith that finds me in every season. So let me speak to your future now. There will still be unknowns. There will still be valleys. There will still be moments when you wonder if I'm near. And I want you to remember this message when those moments come. Read it again. Speak it out loud. Let your soul be reminded. I am not just a God of beginnings. I am the God who sustains, who walks beside, who leads with unshakable devotion. My guidance will not stop here. You will feel it in conversations that come at just the right time, in dreams that wake your spirit, in peace that contradicts logic, in closed doors that you finally see were kindness, not rejection, in divine interruptions that reroute you for your protection, in a verse that leaps from the page, in a person who says what you didn't know you needed to hear, in stillness, in songs, in silence. All of it. Me. Speaking, leading, loving it, you're going to see things fall into place. Not because you pushed your way through, but because you aligned yourself with my timing. You're going to see doors open with ease, not because you rushed the process, but because you trusted it. You're going to experience breakthroughs, not as rewards for performance, but as the fruit of intimacy. This is the new way forward, not from striving, but from staying close. So let the old ways go. The frantic guessing, the pressure to get it all right, the fear of missing your chance. You're not operating on the world's clock. You're operating under heaven's rhythm. And heaven is not late. Heaven is not flustered. Heaven is not worried about your future, because I've already written it with love. You are safe. You are steady. You are strong in me. And you are more guided than ever before. Now walk forward with peace, with boldness, with joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. Let your life be the proof that guidance is not a myth. It is a miracle that happens in the hearts of those who trust. And you do trust. That's why you're here. That's why I've spoken. That's why this message found you. Let it live in you. Let it carry you. Let it remind you every day that you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are being led, even now. Amen. Now go. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded they are not wandering alone. Be the voice that says, you are being led. Let the peace you carry become the sign they've been praying for. Let your life echo my message. I am still guiding. I am still speaking. I am still near, even now.